you guys have already seen who was yesterday, so you know who's today. It is Outlander's main man, Sam Heughan. Heughan? Heughan, how am I doing?
You're doing well, mate. You did it actually earlier. I think you got it. You basically sound like you're spitting.
Right. So thanks for doing this, man. How are you, my man? How are you?
Dude, I'm actually really good. I think there's obviously a lot going on right now, and
Yeah.
It's cool that you're still going. You're putting out a lot of positivity out there and engaging with people. But yeah, there's a lot to process, right? We're talking about COVID, but also all the riots, the protests going on in America and the UK.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. A lot to process, really.
I think some of that stuff needs to happen, though, man. Like, sometimes in times like this, change doesn't happen unless it's forced. So but we're not going to talk about that. Talk about some of this, some SpaceX and NASA going to.
Well, dude, we could also talk about that. Yeah, but I think just for a second, dude, I think you're right. I think there's a lot that is wrong with society and different the way that it's been set up, the system's been set up, and I think sometimes I'm not saying everything's right, but I think out of the ashes, hopefully something good comes.
Yeah,
something fair for everyone, really. But yeah. It's changing times, and we're certainly living in a crazy history right now. But we were there, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, speaking of what started this initially was the quarantine. So, I mean, I know quarantine is basically kind of at its end now, but what have you been up to during the quarantine, man? And what you've been doing? What's life been like for Sam in quarantine and lockdown?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you say it's changing, and it is. I think you're obviously in England and London, and things are opening up there. I'm currently in Scotland. And yesterday was kind of the first day that we were allowed to meet one other person or one other household. Yeah. It's definitely, we are probably the most far behind the rest of, I guess, the whole of Europe, really. But I actually, during quarantine, I was in the US. I was out there initially for work. I was promoting the TV show Outlander, also a movie that I had premiering literally as lockdown started. Yeah. And then I went on holiday. I went to Hawaii and I was there. They had the shutdown, and to be honest, it was probably the best place to be. It was safe. It was contained, and a pretty nice place.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. And this experience, have you learned anything about yourself, or is there anything that's changed in you in kind of this experience, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, you're such a hard worker, right? You never stop. You constant.
I can't.
I know you got stuff going on. You got kids as well. So yeah. You've got that side as well. But I'm kind of the same, to be honest, dude. And I've been on this, on the treadmill of work, which has been thankfully, really good. But actually, it forced me to slow down a bit. I was burnt out. I was definitely burnt out, and it forced me to rest a bit and to recover. And I've kept busy. I've got a TV show that I was talking to you earlier about. We've got an announcement this week that we're seeing. It's a show that I created, produced. It's a little travel show,
Fantastic.
Kind of docu show. It's a lot of fun. And then I've been working on a book as well. So all that has kept me busy. But yeah, man, I just it's actually made me realize, maybe I need to take a little more time to ground myself.
100%, man. Plus, we're expecting those little Outlanders soon, man. Those little Sams, what's happening here, man? We need to. I want to be an uncle out here. Come on, bro.
Yeah, man. No, that show is crazy. And right now, obviously with the lockdown situation, we're planning to go back to work. I don't know about yourself, but productions are slowly working out how to go back, especially in Europe. But in Scotland, where we shoot, I think it's going to be pretty difficult for a while yet. But we're hopeful that, in the next few months, we'll hear more and things will change.
So what did you miss? What did you miss most about being, I know you were away and stuff like that, but was there anything you were like, man, I miss doing that while everyone was locked down?
Yeah, what did I miss? I mean, I think it's weird, isn't it? First of all, you miss going to a restaurant, you miss going to the cinema, you know, going to the gym, all these things that you think, you know, you really need. But actually after a while, you know, you realize that there's a lot of extraneous stuff that actually, you know, do I need a wardrobe full of clothes? No, I've been living in a t-shirt and sweatpants for, you know, like 2 months.
Mate, I've been questioning if I ever need to wear boxers again, because legitimately I've just been in a tracksuit for the last 11 weeks, and I'm like, hey, I feel pretty good. I put pants on the other day. I was like, this doesn't feel good anymore. Like, you know.
I honestly can say I've had about 8 weeks where I didn't wear a pair of jeans, and I put them on. I've got a pair on today. I'm not naked right now, but I put a pair on and it felt so weird. But to be honest, dude, I mean, I think it's probably yourself, you know, like it's actually people. And I didn't think I liked people that much. Yeah. But I miss people, you know, I miss that interaction, you know. I think we realize that we're human beings. We actually need interaction. We need touch. We need to engage with people.
100%. So let's talk about your journey a little bit. So born in Scotland, there was the drama school. I understand you went to drama school with one Stephen Cree.
Yeah, we probably don't want to talk about him too much.
I don't want to talk about him. But just tell us, what made you, as a young boy in Scotland, well, anywhere, but particularly in Scotland, where I don't know how many movie stars you guys had, but what made you want to get into acting? What made you really want to pursue this profession?
Firstly, I grew up in Southwest Scotland in a rural area. I know how fortunate I was. You know, it's a kind of idyllic life. You know, I grew up, there was like 4 people in my class at school until I was 12 years old. You know, it really wasn't a big place. I moved to Edinburgh and, you know, was a teenager and I fell in love with theatre. I attended the youth theatre there. I went to see all the shows at the Royal Lyceum. And for me, it was never about TV or film. Actually, we only had a black and white television until I left home at the age of, 18. So I never really watched. I mean, I went to the cinema, but, you know, it wasn't really that for me. It was more about theatre, and that's definitely, you know, where I grew up in my career as well, you know, after drama school. But I know that you were actually, I think we were both nominated. I think you won for the Laurence Olivier Award.
I just saw that today when I was doing, you know, because lo and behold, I tried to do a little bit of research in this thing. And I just saw that today. You were nominated for an Olivier on like 2001 or 2. And I was thinking to myself, I'm pretty sure that's the year that I was nominated too. How weird is that?
You were the year after. But I think,
was that the year after?
Honestly, because you were at the Royal Court and so was I. So we probably passed each other, you know, by a couple of months. But I mean, dude, congratulations. That's an amazing achievement. And I think, you know, like yourself, you know, it's a great place where you learn, isn't it? The theatre and, you know, and that kind of theatre where, you know, new writing, stuff that's, you know, really pushing the boundaries that 100%. Maybe you can't do in film and TV. It's going to be the medium that probably has the hardest time sort of going back.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of the crowds and stuff like that. All right, so I just wanted to ask you, as you know, you went to drama school and now, you know, you're doing, you know, what most people would consider very successful. But although we know as actors, success is relative, like, you know, it depends what your personal goals are. But did you take your drama school training into your performing, or have you kind of become more instinctual? What's your process now when you're acting? What do you look for? What do you feel? And how do you do it for people that are listening?
Oh, yeah. Well, I suppose there's like 2 questions there. I guess, you know, first is like success. And I think yourself and I, we probably have a similar mindset in that we can't stop. We have to keep going. You know, we keep wanting something else and challenging yourself, you know, and seeing if you can do something. And for me, dude, we worked together, obviously, you know, was it last year or year before? It was a while ago, but it's, you know, I think you inspired me because it's very much, you know, what I'm looking for now is not only acting, you know, which is rewarding in some way, but it's not, you know, it's producing, it's creating your own materials.
Taking control,
Taking control. And actually there's something so energizing and so fulfilling about that, and way more consuming than, you know, turning up on set with a script and just, you know, learning your lines. There's definitely more to it. But the approach, dude, I think is it depends on the production, I guess. But yeah, drama school was like a classical, you know, training, you know, Stanislavski and all that stuff, you know. But I think some of it always relates back. You always learn, but I think on the job is where you learn the most, to be honest. I love drama school, but I think I learned, you know, mostly especially on Outlander, you know, we're working every day, all day. You're in front of a camera. You really learn, you know, your craft there, I think.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, man. Great answer. So we're going to do a little thing called best now, basically, just to lighten the proceedings. So I'm just going to say to you, Sam, what was your best ever, whatever I said?
All right, then.
And then you just give me an answer. So,
Got it.
First one. Sam, what is the best ever, apart from your home, what is the best ever bed you've been in? And I'm not looking for saucy shenanigans necessarily. I just mean generally. What's the best ever bed you've been in?
The best ever bed.
Yeah.
Damn.
You know, one of those ones where you're like, oh, man.
Oh, it's always someone's hotel, isn't it? It's always a hotel. I think probably New York is a hotel that I always like to stay in. But to be honest, mate, yeah, it's more about the company. Who's your company or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, or a hammock. Actually, a hammock is pretty damn good. I had a hammock in Hawaii, which was pretty special.
Yeah, I've never done the hammock thing. I picture me just falling out. So I'm gonna have to try that one day. I'm gonna have to try that.
There's a technique to it, certainly.
Okay, next one.
I'm not sharing it with you, mate.
No, that's fine. Sam, what is the best ever donut you have ever had?
Oh, best ever donut. To be honest, it's probably when you're a kid, isn't it? I mean, you know, I know in America they have all these different kinds of donuts you can get. They have the cronut, which is the croissant donut. It reminds me actually when my mum used to buy us as a treat, you know, Sainsbury's, you know, 6-pack of jam donuts with the sugar on top. And you know, you lick your fingers, and it was a treat, you know, but it was definitely, that was it. And it's the jam ones. I'm not into the custard. I like the plain jam, bit of sugar on top.
Yeah, those are classic. Even nowadays, if I go to a donut place, which is rare because, you know, as you know, when we were in, where were we? Budapest. I'm trying to get in shape, you know, and I've been getting a lot better recently. So not so many donuts, but the jam ones.
I'm impressed with you know what the work you've put into and the dedication. You know, we were obviously in Budapest working on this movie. You know, it was pretty full on. We had obviously the amazing Tom Hopper, who is he's inhuman, right? Okay, his body, his mindset, he's
just a beautiful man.
Yeah, I think we all wanted to be him. Yeah. But and he's a good cook too, isn't he? But,
yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
But I was impressed, dude. Your transformation is incredible, and I'll be coming to your gym by the end of this lockdown.
You're always welcome, man. I learned from you guys, watching you guys and training with you guys. I was like, yo, I have not been putting in the work I thought I'd been putting in, and that was really like because you guys know, you know, I came with you guys a few times, and I was like, okay, they're killing me here. So now I know that I've not been training as hard, and that was so. Thank you. So right, going back to the career, we have a few. You know, once you start, you get that nice little role in Island at War, and we start building those credits. You know, River City, Midsummer Murders. You know, the usual stuff that all actors go through. The Doctors, and you had the Rebus, very sex scandal. But then, and also you're doing the theatre as well. You know, so we had Amphibians. And before we get to Batman Live, which is interesting, I want to talk about how did it feel to, number one, get Princess for Christmas, and also a spot in Homeland, which I guess at the time was like, would have been a massive deal. How do you feel about those things?
Well, yeah, 2 of those. So basically you look back over your credits when you're starting out, and you'll do anything, right? And I'm not ashamed of any of them. And in fact, I loved it, all the jobs. And but you know, you look back and you're like, wow, you know, how much you've progressed, or maybe not progressed, but you know, Princess for Christmas, like, you know, it's a Christmas movie. It's people seem to love it. You know,
it's a nice movie, bro. Like, it legitimately, legitimately, it's one of those sort of hallmarky. It's a nice movie, bro.
It is indeed, indeed, and you know, people watch it each year, and you know, it's got a great feeling. And actually, you know, I got to work with Sir Roger Moore, you know, who was like an idol of mine. You know, like one of the original Bonds, and what a great man. But yeah, and the Homeland, well, that's a fake credit. I don't know who's put that there. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I'd love to say that I was in it. But,
that's interesting. That is interesting. Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's surprising for IMDb too, because they're usually pretty good on that sort of stuff. So what I wanted to ask you quickly was, when you were coming up and doing those things, you know, and I look through the years, and the years were, I don't want to say sporadic, but sometimes it's 1 credit per year. You're probably doing theater as well, but sometimes it's 1 credit per year, whatever. Then there's a gap where sometimes there's nothing, not much. And then I know you did Batman Live, but when you were doing all this kind of stuff, were you frustrated? Did you know you could achieve more? Or were you kind of like, this is all part of the process of building the career? How were you feeling at that time?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right, mate. You know, a jobbing actor in the UK and in London, and finding my feet there. You know, I was working, you know, pretty much part-time, full-time to sort of support myself, whether it was, you know, in a bar or, you know, delivering sandwiches on a bicycle or working in, you know, the NHS. I did everything. I worked in Harrods, you know, I did all these things. Wow. But I was doing theatre. I did quite a lot of theatre up in Scotland. So I would come back up to Scotland, and very lucky to sort of do those to keep me going. But, you know, I was trying to find my way. I kept going to America. I, you know, would go out for pilot season. I'd test on stuff. You get flown out. I remember being, you know, completely penniless, living in North London, and yet, you know, I did a tape and got flown out to test on Tron. They fly you first class in a nice car. And I remember I had like $20, and I was terrified because I knew I had to tip the driver, but it was my only $20.
Wow.
And like, I remember giving it to him, like, oh my God. These things, they teach you, you know, even I went to, I did a whole pilot season. I couldn't drive at the time. So I went to every audition by bus in LA.
Wow.
So, I spent my whole life on buses in LA, and it was tough, man, you know, really tough. But I guess it's what teaches you, and then it makes you also appreciate when you do learn to drive, and you can afford to get a car and whatever. Yeah,
100%, man. That is deep. And I think a lot of people, sorry, man, there's builders out. I think a lot of people don't realize that we go through these things. They kind of see us on the shows, and are like, they look through credits and they go, oh, okay, he's just done that, and then boom, he's there. And it's like, no, man, like you said, NHS, sandwiches, you know, I was a lifeguard. I was a cleaner in a sports center.
Yeah.
You know, cleaner, you know, and it takes time. And you know, any young actors listening, or people listening, or people that aren't actors but just think that it happens quickly, I hope that, you know, hear that and are inspired and understand. Okay, great. So we're going to do a little thing now called the realness. And essentially it's just, tell me something that is important to you, something real. So not about acting. Well, it might be about acting, but something that you consider is important to you that maybe people don't know about. It might be the environment, might be whatever, but whatever it is, just tell us the realness. So 3, 2, 1, Sam Heughan, tell us the realness.
What's the realness? I'll tell you the realness. Well, actually yesterday, I had our annual gala for My P Challenge, which is my health and fitness charity fundraiser. We've raised over $5 million for charity. And we have over 12,000 people that are members. And it's basically an online fitness, but 50% of everything goes to charity. But the most real thing about it is not getting fit. It's not like, you know, sweating or eating healthy or all that stuff. It's the community there, and it's the people that support each other. And we have this amazing community of people that share privately on our forum, you know, their trials, their times they're down, when they don't achieve things, and their successes as well. And to be honest, that inspires me to see people, you know, who are, you know, maybe overweight or have immobility or, you know, confidence issues, and yet they overcome them. And that sort of confidence and strength, being supported by our community is just, it was really rewarding.
Hey, bro, that's amazing, man. That is amazing. So well done.
Thanks, dude.
Being a part of that, man. That's amazing.
Nice.
Great stuff. Thank you for that. So back to the career, and, you know, let's get on to what they all want us to get on to. You know, there's going to be people fast forward in the damn interview till we get to this point. So you're grafting away. You're doing what some people will consider well, but knowing you how I know you, you're probably like, I know I can achieve more. And then all of a sudden, we get this audition for this little known show off the back of a series of little known books, he says, joking, called Outlander. Tell me how that all happened. Tell me the process, and then how you felt when it finally came to pass that you were going to play this role.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going back to what we were saying about, I'd been in America. I'd, had some relative success and then failure, and, came back having spent all my money. I was 34 years old. I didn't have any money, and I was like, God, I'm gonna have to sign on again. And at 34 years old, living in a bedroom shared apartment, no real prospect of being able to support myself. I was really having to consider, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to continue like this? Am I this dedicated that I'm going to, dedicate my life to this? But I think I was prepared to give it, another couple of years and see what happens. But I think that probably ignorance or stubbornness is so important in the industry. And it was then I got this audition for this little known show, Outlander. I didn't know it was a series of books. I went out, bought the book, read it. Yeah, kind of the rest is kind of history. It changed my life. It's given me so much opportunity. I've learned a lot, and here I am now. I couldn't be more thankful,
And how many seasons are we now? How many seasons in are we?
It's about 600, I think, isn't it?
It's a few, right?
We finished season 5. We're waiting to go back to season 6. Who knows? Diana's written, I think, almost 10 books now, and my character's 50 years old, so I'm catching him up.
Yeah. And so Outlander, as you said, changing your life and giving you that the opportunity and ability to then, in between seasons, get other roles and other bigger parts and play leads and stuff like that. Are there specific things you're looking for now, or are you just like, man, I've got my surfboard, I'm just going to surf this wave and grab what I can? What's your kind of mindset and how you are now wanting to shape your career, given that sometimes when you're in the position like you and I, we have the ability to make choices. What are you looking for? What are you wanting to do? What are you wanting to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing position to be in. You have this ability to then actually start to choose. As an actor, you spend most of your life, kind of begging for a job or trying to find a job, and then suddenly you get in a position where you begin to get offered stuff, and you can start to, really forge more of a defined career. I'm enjoying the different projects I've done. I did a comedy because I was like, can I do comedy? Let's see if I can do it. I did a great action movie recently. I did, another one with yourself. And to be honest, for me, it's about now looking for, projects that are challenging in some way, whether the character or the people you get to work with are, inspiring, or people you'll learn from. But as I said as well, creating my own content, produced this TV show that we're announcing this week, and I've got some other things in the pipeline as well. So it's about now, like, let's find some really interesting stuff that we can learn more and grow as actors.
100%. Well. And how have you found the process of learning to produce, and what sort of feeling do you get knowing that something you being a part of building is coming on or getting announced? Or
yeah, I've learned a lot, and I've made some mistakes. I made quite a few mistakes, but I think there's an organic nature to some things. I think sometimes you want to force something through or make something happen so bad, and I think that's maybe not always great. I think sometimes things just seem to happen with the right timing, and you maybe have a lot of projects, but something will just fit with the right timing for that. Working with friends is hard. It's also got great benefits as well. People you've worked with before. It's a learning curve, and I'm really enjoying it, man. And I think also I'm excited about it. It feels like there's no real limit. It's like something you've always wanted to do. Well, then just go out and do it.
100%. And how have you found I don't know what they're called. I know Doctor Who fans are Whovians. What are Outlander fans called? What's is there a name for them? Or
they're called enthusiastic, I think.
Right. How have you found, has that been a big change for you, going from like job and actor? How have you coped with all this? And do you do the conventions and whatnot? How have you found it all?
Yeah. So I think, our fans, first of all, fans of the books, were fans for 20 years for the show. They were anticipating it. They were very vocal. They have been very, very supportive from day one. We can't thank them enough. It's very different, when you're an actor with no real exposure, and then suddenly you're thrown into a world where people are watching your every move, and it's not only when you're on, but when you're off, they also find stuff out, and that can be sometimes a little intimidating, and it's hard to navigate that, but we learn, and generally, it all comes from a place of love and enthusiasm. It's just sometimes you have to draw the line, but it's good, man. It's been great, and the conventions, I love them. I absolutely love them. You get to interact with people and get their feedback and reaction.
100%. It's a beautiful thing. I think they might struggle to get back up soon as well because of everything that's happened, particularly because they're very close quarters, those queues and coming up and shaking everyone's hand and stuff. But hopefully they find a way and the fans can meet the people they like soon. So one last question before we get into the last little bit. Is there a question over the years, obviously people always think they know about us and they don't always know about us. Is there a question that you have wished you had been asked?
Oh, wow. A question I wish I'd been asked. I thought you were going to go the other way and say, what's the question you're always asked that you're like, oh my God? Because I mean, as a Scotsman and wearing a kilt for about 6 years, I was asked, what do you wear under your kilt? But pretty good. And the other one is, if you could go back in time, where would you go? I mean,
of course. Yeah.
I still can't think of a good answer, but honestly, in a weird way, I don't know if you have this, maybe not, you're a straight talker, but I feel like as I'm more in this industry and career, the line between being on sort of acting and your private life, they sort of meld into two. And I don't know, sometimes I find myself guarded in a way that I'm constantly like that. And I think it's hard to then really open up and to be really honest and engaged with people. Yeah. And, you can't always speak your mind. You can't always say that person over there, I hate them and whatever, or that experience I had.
I mean, I kind of do, but
Yeah, you'll know Clarke. You can do what you want. But no, it's an interesting, isn't it? It's just, again, about sort of learning to navigate the industry and how you're portrayed. And, and your actions, whether or not you're on set or you're outdoors or you fall out of the pub drunk or you're, seen somewhere, these have a reflection on your career, or maybe they don't. Maybe it's all just... I
think they 100% do. And I think we do have... We have a responsibility to conduct ourselves in a certain way because that's how we should behave, not that we have to do it for other people. And I think that's the difficulty. Some people buy into the fact that they want to do it for everyone else. They smoke like 20 and they go outside, spray their mouth and act like they don't smoke at all. Do you know what I mean? And actually, I think we have a responsibility to behave a certain way because that's how we should behave. Be polite, be nice to people and stuff like that. Don't just do it when you think there's people watching. And I think, it's hard for people to sometimes learn that, when a lot of times the examples above us are not very good ones.
I think you've hit it on the head, especially with what's going on right now. And it's like, if those in authority or those people that we look up to and tell us, what to do and dictate to us, if they are not following those rules, those society rules, then the system is broken. And then therefore, why don't we go out and protest and loot and whatever because who's to say that that's wrong? I think it's, and so I guess, being in the public image, there is, we have to set a standard, and I would just say, don't do what I do.
All right.
Don't do what you do.
So the last thing we're going to do is just play a little thing called Give Me the Word. So basically, and again, apologies for this drilling. Basically, I just say a word or a phrase, and you come back with a one word, maybe 2 words occasionally if you have to answer, and that's how we're going to take it home. All right.
Oh, all right. Okay, I'm prepared for this, dude. Let's go.
All right, let's go. SpaceX.
Oh, I'm so inspired. And I'm jealous of your t-shirt.
And this was actually, I got this at NASA, at the Kennedy Space Center, because I was there like only a couple months ago. We saw the SpaceX hangar, me and my kids and everything. Yeah. So now every time I see someone with a NASA t-shirt, I'm like, is yours from NASA though? Is it from NASA? just before this whole shutdown, COVID, everything, I actually had planned to go there because I really want to go to Kennedy Space Center. I would love to see a launch, but I really wanted to go, and that was my plan. So again, we might have just missed each other. We missed each other. It was amazing.
Anyway, next one. Remember, that we'll excuse that one, but let's keep the answers short.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
Go ahead.
Number 2, seaside.
Cold and windy.
Yep. Lockdown.
Ending.
Yep. Pancake.
Good with blueberries.
Yeah. Gym.
You got to do it.
Traveling.
A luxury.
Yep, good one. Conventions.
Great fun.
Good one. Hairstyles.
I'd rather wear a hat.
Yeah. Hey, look, yeah, me too, bro. This lockdown afro here. You don't want to.
Yeah, lock down here. Yeah.
Yeah. Eggs.
Always with ketchup.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one of my kids just said in the background. Tell me the eggs with ketchup thing.
Oh, you got to have eggs with ketchup. I can't eat eggs without them.
How do you have them with ketchup? Boiled or fried or what?
Oh, I mean, I'd have them scrambled, probably. Bit of ketchup or an omelette and bit of ketchup. Come on.
Yeah.
So good.
I got you.
Hot sauce as well. A little hot sauce.
Yeah, I'm with you. Tom Hopper.
He's a legend, a god amongst men, and we want to be. And he's very tall.
And he's very tall. 2021.
The future.
Yep. Red Notice.
Coming soon.
Yeah, okay. And the last one, home.
For now, it's got to be Scotland.
Love that. My man, Sam.
Dude.
Thank you so much for doing this. You've been
Pleasure,
a legend, man. I appreciate it so much. Your career has been chronicled, my bro. Thank you.
Thanks, my friend. An absolute pleasure yourself.